What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Invite Only. Play everything's nerdy news, gossip, gospel. And you see here, I got a new face. My name is Shawn Flowers. Here next to me, I have the one and only real San Francisco treat, Eli Shaw. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What's up, guys? How you doing?
The San Francisco treat returns.
No, I'm back.
Familiar face. He's been here many times. How you doing?
I'm great. Just chilling, and trying to enjoy this summer as much as I can, indoors, playing video games.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yep,
Everything
yep.
in the house. Sitting next to him, I got Cheeks_Jr. Ugly face over there. How you doing, Mr. Marshmallow?
What's up, players? I'm good. I'm fantastic. I'm in a good mood. Had a day off in the first time in weeks.
Yeah, you got a nice
Nice.
you got a nice big smile on you.
Yeah, I'm happy. The SF treat is here. He returns. First time on Play Everything content.
Oh yeah,
True.
First time on the Play Everything. Of course, I have my producer in the back. You know, we're gonna try to string him along. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
You
A little
good?
tired.
Oh yeah, you came in a little tired.
Yeah.
Whether we string him along or not, he's gonna interject himself. You know what I mean? It's
Always.
all right. I love you.
I'll always interrupt. That's like my signature move.
All right. Well, since you're new to Invite Only, I gotta ask you, what kind of games are you playing?
So I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. That new update just happened. You can swim in the ocean. You can dive.
That's new to Animal Crossing, just swimming.
Yeah. I think maybe a few
I haven't
days
played Animal
ago.
Crossing.
They update it every month now with new seasons, new things to do.
That's dope.
There's
Did
a
you play on
new
the fourth?
otter. I don't think so, actually.
I was wondering, they had any fireworks going on or something like that.
Nah.
I like when games do that.
There was a little meteor shower on my island, so maybe that was their special way of doing it.
Okay, got a little something popping off.
Yep.
How you doing over there, Cheeks? You get any games done? You
Yeah.
finish anything?
Have you only been playing Animal Crossing for the most part? Time sunk. I know that game's a time suck for sure.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. I also started Jedi Fallen Order a few weeks ago. I think I'm pretty much 75% of the way from what I've seen. And that's pretty cool too. I really like the gameplay, combat. Feel like it's a new path for third-person action games that I like.
Yeah.
Not so much the Souls hard mode, but not too platinum-y, just slash and whatever. So really
You into
enjoyed
it though, right?
Oh, I'm really
I
into
love
it.
the combat in that game.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It reminds me of Sekiro Light, in terms of the parlays and being able to the different mechanics and different combos that you can do to switch it up. Man, I love that game.
Yeah. I love it.
That was my last single player game I played until The Last of Us.
Oh shit.
So I've been filling time with Call of Duty Warzone and
Yeah.
Apex every once in a while, but mainly and Minecraft.
What about,
Don't forget
Medieval?
to buy Minecraft.
No, I'm talking about
Minecraft
medieval.
Dungeons?
That was before everything.
Oh yeah,
That was
this
before
guy.
Jedi Fallen Order.
This guy trying to get out of it.
I will finish medieval.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not you.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Look at him. Look at you.
All I said was
He's
okay.
insecure about his insecurities, and then he tries to pan it
Look,
off on
but
me on my
I hear him trying to
insecurities.
explain it to
I've
you.
heard what I've heard. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's pull up the platinum records. You know what I mean? Adrian, do I need you to go to
Look, you know who I
PSN.com?
am.
You don't
know
have
who I
to.
am. You know who I am.
Yeah, we
I
know who
hate
you
you.
are.
How's Last of Us? You said you were doing what?
Yes, so Last of Us has finally sunken its teeth in deep inside me, which I'm very excited for. Because before, I was talking to Eli before we started the show, it was very much a thing where it was I got it. I sat on it for a little while because I was busy, granted, but it's not like Minecraft, right, where I was busy, but I spent hours and hours because it really had its teeth in me. When games are Jedi Fallen Order, I was the same busy then than I was now.
Yeah.
But it instantly had its hooks in me, so I was instantly grinding out a couple hours a day or going into the night, 2, 3 a.m. So when I got this, I was surprised I wasn't all on board right away. And I think it was a little bit of me being hey, we don't want to continue this story. We don't want to see, because the first one was so perfect and you love the first one, and that's really, you hold that so dear to yourself that you don't want to continue onto the story just in case, it was a mess up
It's
or
like
was
fear of the
this.
sequel.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it later on more of my impressions because that has to do with it.
Yeah.
But like, because I was afraid on how they would handle it, what they would turn it into. Maybe there was something like happens all the time, right? Like a game or franchise you love and they do something that you don't necessarily like or agree with or want to like think that's a great way to go with the story. So I mean, that was always a possibility, which I have full faith in Naughty Dog not to. But I think it was just a little part of me being like, let's hold off on this. But now 10 hours in, I'm really digging it.
Nice.
Eli, I
nice.
know you haven't started it. I'm really
excited.
digging it. Really digging it.
All right.
Have you played the first one, Eli?
Oh yeah, loved the first one. Played it as soon as it came out. Like every night I would play it because I need that spooky vibe. Yeah,
spooky
love
vibes.
it so much.
Did you shed a tear? Because this guy, he said he's cried twice, 3 times playing Last of Us.
Twice, majorly.
Part 2,
No, one.
part 1. I don't think I cried at all. I was just like, oh, great story, but like didn't hit me to the point where I was gonna shed a tear.
Damn. I'm telling you what. So spoilers if you haven't played Last of Us 1. That Pittsburgh scene, the Pittsburgh with the
Spoilers for
brother
me.
and the kid.
Okay,
That was
yeah,
the first
yeah.
one where like it's earlier on in the game, and I remember playing that really like liking them and being like cool, like they're gonna be with like throughout the game or like this is gonna be a really cool character arc because we just got done with what's his name, Bill, right? And he didn't die. He was there and he finished up that story. He moved
Yeah.
on. I was okay. This is how this is gonna be, and I like the relationship Ellie and the little boy had in terms of like the friendship that they had growing, and Joel and the older brother kind of talking, and I was like, oh man, I really like this. And then they just fucking come in and just break your heart. They come
do
in,
it.
end it, and it was just like fuck. And that's the first time where I was like, and then it goes to that like I think it was like winter. Like or like spring or whatever the fuck the season it was comes up right after it happens, and I was like
Sitting there crying like a baby.
I had to put down the controller. I was like I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it was definitely intense. Shout out to those guys. Love black characters.
Yeah.
Sad to see him gone too soon.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but honestly, I think those two were some of my favorite characters and character development in the Last of Us.
So I got a question. So you guys, you're in the story game, like driven games, right? Like that's one of your go-to games, or are you more of a multiplayer guy?
I kind of do a little bit of both.
Okay, so when it comes to a story, this is a question for you two, Cheeks. Are you more attached to a story because of like you're able to like relate to the story in some way, like okay, I can see this happen, or you're able to put yourself in the shoes of the character? Like which one it really hooks you? Because that's my problem with games. Like I don't get that hook, whether it's me able to relate or me able to like buy into the story.
Yeah, I would say pointing to like my 2 favorite stories like recently, God of War, I felt like I related to on like a more like personal level. Like I can relate to the story being told.
Yeah.
And that's what really hit it for me. Like I get this like dad character. I get like Kratos' story and his relationship with his son. And then on the other hand, Spider-Man, PS4, like that story was awesome because it's just a great Spider-Man story that you get to be Spider-Man in.
Yeah.
Like you get to make the decisions
You're
there.
really putting yourself in that shoe.
Yeah.
I can see that from Spider-Man. What about you, Cheeks? Because it's just not it for me.
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily like every once in a while a game will kind of like hit a note where like I relate with, but I never understood the relating to a game necessarily because it's all fiction. I guess in any fiction you can kind of relate to something, but I just there more for what like in fiction the story, right? The lore that it kind of builds out and like the characters it builds, and obviously there's good ones and bad ones. Like Days Gone, I guess that is I lied. Days Gone is technically the last game. No, that's not true.
What are you talking
Sorry, I was trying to correct myself from before. But there's good and bad, right? Whereas Days Gone, I feel like that character development didn't really pull me, and that story didn't really pull me. So,
Yeah.
like, obviously, I'm not going to relate, but it's something where if it's a good story and it's written well, I feel like anybody can kind of relate to some bit of that story. But it's not that I necessarily like, oh man, I see myself in Kratos, or like
I'm saying,
I
is
see
that the
myself.
part like you just hook yourself from playing the character, or you get hooked in by like you're playing Kratos and you're like, oh, I really fuck with the story because like I can see myself in what was his son's name, Atreus?
It's definitely almost never that. Where it's like I could see myself in that character.
Yeah.
It's never that. It is like the actual story, like the world they're building, the lore that they have around it, the world itself, the characters themselves, and their development throughout the story. I feel like that grabs me a lot more than like I relate to Atreus.
For me, it's more of a relating thing. I need games that I can relate to a character, whether it's just like the mood that they walk around in or like the story that follows them. Like for example, like Final Fantasy, I fuck with Cloud heavy because of like one thing I really fuck with is his commentary. Like he really just talks shit. Like he don't give a fuck about nobody. He'll say whatever the fuck is on him. He'll cuss randomly, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's something I would have said in that moment. So like I can fuck with the game because of that, because like the character continuously does something like that. So that's part of that. Let's get into some news.
News.
All right, first up, Xbox is reportedly interested in acquiring WB Interactive. So this is obviously Warner Brothers. They've recently looked into buying out, I believe it's all of their studios, Warner Brothers Interactive Studios, which gives them rights to like people like NetherRealm, people like Rocksteady Games, TT Games, Monolith, people that make pretty much like all the Lego games, all the MKs. What other titles do they have in there? Batman. All that stuff is really up for grabs right now, and I don't know if I want Microsoft to get it because I don't want games like Mortal Kombat. Like I'm a big fighting game guy, so when these games come out, I need to have them on PlayStation because the PlayStation controller for one is better for fighting games. And so if this becomes, and I'm not saying it would be, but if this becomes like an exclusive thing, because I know I would do it if I was Xbox, I would for sure try to make that exclusive thing. But what do you guys think about that?
Controller, you know what I mean?
I mean-
Joy, you know, gamepad.
Yeah, real gamer,
that's
right?
true.
Real gamer. You know what I mean? The controller mat is over here.
I mean, Sony kind of did it with what's it called, Street Fighter 5. Like that's not on
That's true.
Xbox.
That's true.
So that could be Microsoft's way of like snapping back. You know,
That's a big blow.
it's a really big blow.
That's a big blow.
I think I think this is very minor, to be honest, in the fact that they're not getting the IP. It's not like they're getting exclusive rights. I mean, unless Microsoft works something into the contract which a lot of people are kind of overlooking because this is kind of what happened with Spider-Man, where in the contract it's essentially Microsoft gets exclusive publishing rights to Harry Potter games, Batman games. Then that's a different story, right? But as it is right now in the contract, it's basically you get all these developers, but you don't get any of the IP besides like Mortal Kombat, like originally developed IP, but not like.
So wouldn't this mean you get rights to those studios though?
You get rights to the studios, but the studios don't own the rights to the IP.
To the IP?
Yeah.
So that's all obviously like if it was Marvel games or comics is obviously owned by Marvel at that point, right?
I would assume, yeah. So exactly what happened with Spider-Man, right? It was the contract was up for renegotiation, and you assume that Sony got a exclusive part of, hey, okay, Disney, you can do more games, but we're gonna get the exclusive game game publishing rights to Spider-Man in the contract. So unless something like that happens with WB, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it could, basically they'd be getting very minor IP and then Mortal Kombat, which I think would really benefit Microsoft because they need a fighting game. They need to be able to diversify outside of shooters. I think that's their biggest issue right now with their first-party studios. Yeah. And I think that's why you see them acquire things like, not Psychonauts, Double Fine. That's what I'm thinking of. So that's why you see them kind of diversifying their developer portfolio. But I also think in terms of having a game like Mortal Kombat, I think would be huge for them. And I think that would be more of a draw for you to be able to either play it on your PC through Xbox Game Pass
that's
or which you can use a PS4 controller, or you can buy, it will make you intrigued to actually buy the Xbox console. And I think that's what they need right now.
Go ahead. I don't know if you had something to say.
I was going to say, for me, like the biggest pull here is that they're going to potentially own Rocksteady. And like,
That's another one.
you know, who knows how far along they are on their next game, whether it is Batman or not. But like, it might be a situation where they publish Batman not exclusively and their next thing is totally exclusive. And I'd love to see like Rocksteady have like a committed like budget that like Microsoft could give them and have a game out like more than once every generation.
I like the fact that you brought up Street Fighter was exclusive to PS4 because that was a big game title. That's a big game just honestly in the fighting games industry. And I honestly hadn't realized that I was actually an exclusive title. But like that game, like putting Street Fighter next to like Mortal Kombat, I feel like Mortal Kombat has like more longevity as a game, and I feel like the company puts more work into like a Mortal Kombat game. Like Street Fighter is more or less copy and paste. Maybe you fix the graphics a little bit, but you have the same moves, same characters. Nothing really changes. Maybe a little bit story, but like I said, really it's just graphically intensive. But Mortal Kombat, it's such like, and it's from these studios, NetherRealm and stuff like that. I know they're not exclusive IPs. Like you can have someone else make a game with Batman in it or whatever. Like they're not exclusive to that studio, but like you want those studios to be behind that because they already have an audience, they already have a community, and I feel like that's what really Microsoft is really buying at this point. They're buying those communities, not really the games, because
Yeah, I mean, they're buying the fans, the develop. I mean, just like Insomniac, right? Where I'm intrigued by Ghost of Tsushima. But again, that actually goes against my argument that I was about to make because I'm a big fan of Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I necessarily want to play Ghost of Tsushima with a completely new game that they're doing. Like, I love Sucker Punch, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'm going to follow them on that journey. Obviously, I want to see what you think of Ghost of Tsushima when you play it, and I might pick it up. But at this point, it's like, it's just a completely different vibe for me. So even though I'm a fan, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going along. And when you don't have IP, I mean, I think Mortal Kombat's a big one, and I think Rocksteady's a huge get for Xbox.
Totally.
It's one of those things where we, one, have to wait and see, but two, if they will get a contract for the exclusive publishing rights for the important IP like Harry Potter. Like imagine Rocksteady doing a Harry Potter exclusive for Xbox. Like that's huge.
That'd be crazy.
The Xbox needs something like this. Now, obviously, if it goes to EA, we're probably going to see microtransactions up the ass. If it goes to Activision, we're going to see what they're going to try 10 different things at once. And then the thing that's most popular, they're going to shove down your throat every year. And right now, I'm enjoying Crash Bandicoot get shoved down my throat. But when does it become old? You know what I mean?
We just need to hand this over to Take-Two. All right. They're not the best developers, but they handle things pretty nicely compared to EA and Activision. Don't need them handling Mortal Kombat. All right. I hope those characters very near and dear. Don't need them handling Injustice. All right. The Lego games are fire. Don't touch those. And just hand this to the rightful makers. All right. Microsoft, keep your hands off of it. EA, for sure, keep your hands off of it. Activision, I don't know. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Sometimes Activision just throws a lot of shit at the wall, though. So that's the problem. Let's get into the next piece of news, though. So,
next piece of news.
Left 4 Dead creators have revealed a concept art for their new zombie game, Back 4 Blood. Did you guys play a lot of Left 4 Dead?
I've never played Left 4 Dead.
Oh,
You've
really?
never played Left 4
But
Dead.
I played the hell out of Evolve until it was just done, run into the ground.
What is Evolved? I've never played Evolved.
So that was like their launch title for like the current gen systems. So it's like asymmetrical multiplayer. Like one person plays a giant monster, and then you have 4 people fighting them as like
So it's like
hunters.
the same type of concept.
Yeah.
Got
It's a
you.
free game, if I remember.
It is
right?
now. I definitely paid $60 for it.
Okay, so you definitely pay. Okay.
Yeah. But over time it went free because of the player base just lowering. But I haven't played Left 4 Dead.
Okay. Would you be interested? Have you played a lot of zombie games?
I was really big on the Call of Duty zombie games. So I'm really into that. If it's similar, I'm totally in. I love zombie games.
Have you played any? Like, have you played like what is it called? Not Dead Island. What was
I
the
did play
name of
Dead
that
Island.
game? That was a decent game. That game where it was like a guy, he had a suit and he like run around the mall and like you could just do whatever you want. and it
Oh,
was,
Dead
like,
Rising.
Dead Rising. Have you ever played that?
I did play it. I played it on the Wii. It was pretty cool.
Fuck that
The
game.
Wii. What are you doing out there with your nunchucks?
I mean,
Killing these zombies?
it was honestly, yeah, it was worth it. The chainsaw, you could like,
Yeah,
So-
just like that.
just like that.
So if you take a look at the picture, like you have like I guess I saw some rumors online saying like this is gonna be a game kind of like Plants vs Zombie where like you have like a civilization in the back. You kind of see like they have everything kind of barricaded by like all of like the spikes and shit in the front. Where like you're just pretty much like defending yourself against wave and trying to like I guess just keep these barriers up. Kind of reminds me of like Call of Duty type zombies. I don't know if I'd be here for that. I really like the Left 4 Dead Evolved type of like game style where it's like you now have to like play differently like every round. It's like that it's a different type of thrill. Like you really got to get in Left 4 Dead. Honestly, I'm telling you, man. That's
All right.
it's hard for you to go back now because it's on 360. But I brought this up because Mikey, honestly, he kind of like low key predicted it. We were talking about the July event for Microsoft. He was like, Microsoft needs something to kind of bring up the hype, and then sure enough, blam. And I was like, fuck.
We'll see. It would be interesting if they show it at Microsoft's
I don't think
conference.
they'll show this.
No, I don't. No, I'm not just saying the screenshot. I'm saying like
Oh.
the actual game itself.
Yeah, I don't even think they'll talk about the game. Is what I'm saying.
I don't. But again, I don't know. Is Microsoft making the moves to be able to kind of get them exclusive again? Probably not. I would imagine this is a multi-platform, but people really do love this studio. I remember a lot of chatter about Evolve when it came out too, even though I never personally played it. And what is it? There's a whole generation. It took them to make a second game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Isn't a great sign.
No, not at all. I'm kind of nervous for this, to be honest. Like, I don't know what their move is going to be because of, like, the kind of decline in, I would say, almost like a failure of Evolve.
Yeah.
It didn't last how they wanted to, and I'm just nervous to see what they come back with after that.
I don't know what Evolve is, but we got another piece of news story. Hyperscape. It's the newest entry for the BR Battle Royale game mode for everything. I know they've kind of been shoving a lot of Battle Royales down our throat. At this point, I'm just taking them. So this is new by Ubisoft. I'm kind of interested, I'm not going to lie to you. What would really grab me is if they said this was free to play, but we're just going to play the video. I want you guys to see this because it's low-key pretty decent.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the Hyperscape, our new fast-paced battle royale that brings verticality to the next level. In Hyperscape, up to 100 players will compete in a variety of game modes.
It's like a little 4-minute
Squad
video.
and solo Crown Rush are the main modes where battle royale
Who's this,
champions
Ubisoft?
are crowned.
Ubisoft, yep.
Yeah. I did just sign up for the beta today.
Neo
Just waiting for
Arcadia
that,
is a
like, email,
virtual,
yeah.
shimmering
You're on it.
city designed to
Look at that
encourage
battle royale.
vertical
Is it on
mobility
console?
and fast-paced
Is you playing it
combat
on, or is it-
situations.
I signed up on PC.
From sky-high towers to deadly
I think that's the only
interiors,
place to
you
get
will
it.
constantly need to adapt your fighting styles.
I'm really digging like this environment.
Once
where
the
you're
battle
really, like, having to
begins,
run around.
your personalized deployment
And it's so
pod
open
is
and
your
on top of
transport
buildings.
to the battle. You will be able to
definitely
drop
seems
in
more
any
like,
part of the map, so
vertical
pick your
even
drop
than,
spot wisely.
Apex, where you have like a
Hit
zip
the
line
ground
and
running,
all that
because
stuff.
you'll start with only a melee weapon.
I would just hate to get sniped in this shit.
Hotly contested
yeah, that's
landmarks
gonna be
are
annoying.
known to contain abundant caches of gear,
Alright.
but high risk
Gonna get to
brings
a
the
part in the
chance
video.
of high
Actually,
reward.
I'm not even gonna spoil it. I just want you guys to see
Gear
it. I
is
thought
found
this was, like, a
inside
dope idea
buildings,
for the game.
closed off by breakable barricades and inside supply crates located around the map.
Are those like the windows?
Something you have
As
to
you
break, kind
traverse
of like
the
a
city,
loot vault. Like you break
looking
the
for
glass and
gear
there's like
and
things
enemies,
behind it.
you'll discover the different
like the only thing you can,
environments
like, break.
create
Looks
diverse
like on the
gameplay
world.
opportunities and challenges. Your competition may come from any
Jump.
angle.
Can you imagine this game at
Every
high,
battle
like,
in
high level, like, people
Hyperscape
just looking
is a
at it out
fresh
on the wall?
experience where
Honestly,
you
I
leverage
can't
the
imagine
varied
like any
arsenal
of
you will
these
find
PC
in Neo
shooter
Arcadia.
high level players.
Your
It makes
loadout
zero
is not
sense to me.
determined by the
How are you
character
this
you
good?
choose,
How'd you even
but
see
by
me?
the
How'd you
weapons
see
and
anything?
hacks you loot. From full auto assault weapons to powerful energy blasters,
There's some
there is
hype
a
around
tool
this
for
game.
any playstyle.
And I feel like you're usually up to
Hacks
date on
are
all
game-changing
the
abilities
cool,
you loot
cool
around
gaming
the
stuff.
map
Look,
that grant
there's like a
skills for
feature.
Not you,
offense,
Eli.
defense,
I mean,
You can
I'll let Sean talk.
No, it's all you. He's not even talking about me.
Anytime if you need to
I
change
mean,
your
coming off of
strategy.
Apex, like I'm just
choice
waiting
is
for
in
that
your
next
hands.
battle royale that's really gonna like blow my socks off. Like
you find
Call
a
of Duty
copy of a weapon
is
or hack
fine.
you already
I get it.
have in your
It's just more
possession,
Call of Duty to
you
me,
can
but
fuse it,
like this seems
creating
really
an
really
upgraded
cool.
version.
What's it gonna take to really blow your socks
Each
off? Like,
item can be
are you looking
upgraded
for another
several
battle royale, or are you
levels,
just looking for
improving
something different
magazine
within battle
size,
royale?
damage, or
No,
cooldown
I think
duration.
I'm really like happy with the way Apex is right now. So it's gonna take a lot.
As you discover your footing in the
This is why I like
Hyperscape,
Eli.
your
We're
squad
gonna get him
will
back
be
here a lot
there
more
to help
often.
you.
He
Yeah.
speaks real
Use
shit
the
about
ping
Apex
system
because you
to
know that's the
sync with your
best
squad
battle
and
royale
warn
right
them
now.
of potential threats.
The game
or
looks
alert
good.
them to
This is my
potential
first time seeing.
resources.
I've heard about it. This is
If
my
an
first time
enemy
actually seeing
manages
it.
to take you out, the battle is
just-
not over.
So this
Another
Zero
battle. I mean, I
This is
guess
the
it's
respawn
good because
mode.
Call of Duty is
And
gonna
you
get
can
old.
help your
This is
squad
how you
by
bring
scouting
people back.
ahead.
So you
When
die,
enemies are
and
eliminated,
apparently you walk around
a
with what's called an
restore
echo,
point
right? And so if someone else
appears in
dies,
that
now you
spot.
can walk up,
Find a
and they have
restore
to
point,
manually
and your
respawn you like this.
squadmates can bring you
So
back
you
into
still
the
are
fight.
playing, and you're able to walk around and like scout as you're dead, letting I
As
guess
your
people know
game
where you
master,
are.
one
Which
of my favorite
I think that's dope to
tasks
promote
is to
team
keep
play. Like
things
once
alive
like you're
and
out in battle royales, you kind of
battle
just out, you're
events,
into the gulag
such
or whatever.
as
It's like
the
you kind of
infinite
just
ammo
out of the
event
game. But
or
this,
the low
I think this is dope. Keeps you in there.
Viewers
Yeah, I think like having cool respawn mechanics in battle royales is kind of what's gonna draw me to it. Because for so long, like with Fortnite and PUBG, like if you're out, you're out. I feel like Apex really.
Wait, Adrian,
brought
can
me
you go
in.
back a little bit? I didn't want to interrupt you. Go back. Couple seconds right there. Yeah. So this, pause it. So this shit right here. So there's like in-game events that people can decide through Twitch. So I don't know how this is linked to Twitch. I don't know if you have to link your account to Twitch or whatever. But as you stream, there's like community events you kind of see in that left circle. So they talked about like a gravity event where they turn like zero gravity. Go back just a little bit. I think it shows like kind of what that looks like, where it's like just an area on the map that's just zero gravity. Hit play. I don't know if this is the spot. No, this isn't it. Go back. Back. Oh, look.
Oh yeah, low gravity.
Well, it said it. Fuck it. You ruined it. You ruined it, Adrian. You ruined it. You're too late. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much one of the main points I wanted to talk to you about that game. How you guys feel about this? You gonna jump into this? You said you already got the Founders Pack.
I registered for like the beta, so I gotta wait for like a code in the email. But as soon as I get it, I'm on this.
You already signed up for the beta, or you already signed up for the beta, trying to get in?
Yeah.
On console?
PC.
PC.
Have you played
I had to do
Valorant?
it.
No, not for me.
So Mikey got into Valorant.
No, I wouldn't say I got into it.
You got some kills. You know, you look, you were doing anything.
Yeah,
You doing your thing?
I definitely dabbled.
Okay.
I dabbled, do ya, as I'd like to say.
All right.
And it's not my kind of game, but I feel like the map design's super boring. I do think it's an interesting take on CS:GO, essentially.
Yep.
But I'm more excited. I'm more intrigued by Hyperscape. But again, it is a Ubisoft game, so I'm very interested to see how it plays.
I actually like Ubisoft. They're actually one of my favorite developers.
Yeah,
Or
I like their
publishers.
shooters too.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're always heat. Never really disappoint. I mean,
Their mechanics are not great for shooting. Like
Really?
Watch Dogs, I was not a fan of the mechanics.
is it Rainbow Six?
I'm talking about first person.
Rainbow Six, yes, but it's also a lot slower. That's something that you basically have to. It's like coffee when you're a kid, It's an acquired taste.
That's the truth, because I can't play fucking Rainbow Six for my life.
We
It's
tried.
not
Me
for
and Tambo tried to get you in on it.
I
We
really
just
tried. I dabbled, as they say.
That
dabble,
shit's
do you?
intense.
You like Rainbow Six?
I played a bit. It was too much for me. Too slow.
Thank you. I'm not sitting there camping. I'm just not a camper. That's not how I
Nah.
play the game. Next piece of news. Microsoft renews Fable trademark, as the rumor mill goes. Have you guys played Fable?
No.
Are you an RPG guy? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you an RPG guy?
Yeah, I do like my RPGs. My Western RPGs specifically. I just never owned an Xbox growing up, so Xbox exclusives totally over my head. Never played them.
There were no good like PlayStation. Let me talk to Mikey. Mikey's the Sony guy. There were no good. Oh, he's not an RPG dude too, though.
No.
Boo.
I mean, I've fucked with what's it called? Rogue Galaxy. That's a JRPG.
Yeah.
PS2. Shout out. I do love my Horizon. Like,
Did you play like Infamous?
oh yeah.
I wouldn't say Infamous is
It's
an
not
RPG,
truly
though.
RPG, but I mean at the same time, it is an RPG.
Yeah,
Fallout, really
it's
into that.
RPG light.
Fallout. Yeah, it's RPG like, yeah.
Yeah, and then isn't Persona exclusive or was exclusive on the
Yeah.
PS5? That's a very popular exclusive JRPG by Sony. I think Ni no Kuni, right?
Ooh,
Ni no
Ni no
Kuni.
Kuni.
Yeah,
That's that shit.
another JRPG that was really popular on the PS4 or PS3. I'm trying to think. I know a lot of the Dragon Quest games usually get localized on PlayStation first.
This makes me sad because I thought you'd be an RPG guy, but I feel like I'm the only one hype about this game. But Fable's coming back is what I'm trying to say with this story, all right?
It's a Western RPG. He likes Western RPGs.
Yeah, I'm down.
You got to try Fable. Whenever, I don't know if this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. I expect it to be, honestly, which I guess I'm getting the fucking Microsoft Game Pass for my fucking PC. But Fable is one of those RPGs that really, like, I lost sleep on this game because of really... I played Fable 3. I didn't play Fable 2. Fable 2 was way more in-depth than Fable 3. But Fable 3, I still got a taste of, like, how much you control in the world based off, like, your actions. That's why I brought up Infamous, because a lot of it was action-based. Like, okay, you do a certain amount of good and, like, people like you and people are willing to invest in your properties and shit like that. But Fable really changed the game for me as far as how I like to view RPGs. I'm excited for that. Doesn't know if it's going to be confirmed. I didn't mean to cut you off. You want to say something?
No, yeah. Was Fable 3 on Xbox 360?
Yeah, 360.
So you've been waiting a while for this.
I have been waiting them out. They came out with another game after Fable 3. It was like Fable Journey, and then it was like another one. I think it was a mobile game. It's bullshit. It had nothing to tie in with that story. I mean, they don't tie in, but I mean, like, it was not even the same type of game. So it's like, fuck it. What are you looking up here? What are you typing in?
But don't call attention to it. He's just producing.
I didn't know. Sorry.
No, I think this would be crazy if they came out on that Thursday and they're like, "Hey, Fable, look, this however far they have, whether it's just a title screen or a trailer." Yeah. I think that's the kind of hype they need because there's a fan base for what they're doing. Especially for Fable hardcores alike, they need something that's not just a shooter, like I've been saying. And I think this is a good way to diversify their first-party lineup. Now, again, they can announce it and nothing will happen, just like the last Fable that got canceled for Xbox One, where it was supposed to come out and it was going to be this big thing, and then it just got canceled.
Yeah.
So we will see. I don't know if this is real. They need a plethora of these kind of announcements to be able to bring the hype.
They're coming out, though. And I don't know if, obviously, we're not going to be getting these the first year for the Xbox, but I feel like just by these discussions, because a lot of these were Microsoft exclusive titles, like Left 4 Dead, Fable, right? I feel like just these stories are coming out the woodworks right before the event. I feel like something's going to happen, right? Now we're going to the next piece of news because this I want to talk about because this honestly confused the fuck out of me, and this is the type of shit like I don't like to see the developers do. Me and Mikey talked about it last time. We talked about how Fortnite, I don't know if you heard about this, Eli. Fortnite took the police cars out of the games.
I did hear about that.
For the things that were happening in Black Lives Matter. I thought it was dope, silent protest. I'm here for it. But this is similar to that. So this is an emote in the game. It's the OK emote. But they took this out of the game because this had racial bias. I feel like things like this, they take out the game. It brings attention to the negative part of it because I would have never known this. I would just play the game, throwing an OK up, like I got the kill. Oh, we're about to, I'm about to raid this house. Okay. Why are you taking things out and then putting this idea of like, oh, now this is racist? I even had I seen the video of like someone like this is the white, and then like the P for the power. I was like, whoa.
It's real. It's real.
Have you heard about this being racist?
Oh, yeah. It's been like a thing for, I'd say at least like a couple years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been seeing it around like people just doing it in pictures. Like people, if they're on camera on like a sports game, they'll do it just to like, I don't know, mess around. But yeah, like I'm surprised they even put it in to begin with because of like, I'd say Call of Duty has a pretty close association with just like toxicity in general.
Yeah, Call of Duty racist fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like they should have like thought about that before they put it in because like it is a white power sign for sure. And
that's crazy.
That's a lot of people who play Call of Duty, unfortunately.
That's what's crazy to me. Because I remember this popping up 3 years ago coming out of 4chan. I remember first hearing about it. And here's the thing about being so plugged into the internet where a lot of people don't know, like that's still like sign language. That's okay. Like that's the sign that's the sign for okay. Right.
Yes.
So I feel like there's a large swath of people that don't necessarily know that that's, a white power sign because it came out of the internet, right? It came out of 4chan. I do think that is ridiculous foresight on them to like overlook that because that's what sucks is something as simple as an okay sign, which universally before, 3 years ago, okay, like that's the okay sign, right? Yeah. And then it gets co-opted and people come in and then they use it. And then even though they meant this as okay in the game, when you do have the people playing Call of Duty who are white supremacists and like they're like, oh yeah, they put the okay sign, this is like our thing. It's just a bummer because again, something that is so from the origin of it innocent and then co-opted and then turned into something that can be used as like a hate sign essentially. Yeah. And it sucks because a lot of people don't know that. I'd say obviously we do because we're on the internet. We see the pictures of the people who are flashing it where it is almost like it's on purpose, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are people out there who use
myself.
it. Like you didn't even know.
My
that it was
mom
white power
actually
sign.
taught me sign language when I was younger, so that's the only thing I've seen it as, which I'm glad you brought that up because that's the only thing I've actually seen. My mom had to like do sign because she's a nurse. She had patients that only signed, so that's what I grew up as was. So I thought, like as you said, it was just the okay sign. So I found it interesting that that whole narrative was even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also think there's an interesting thread on this in terms of the reactiveness to the internet, because like, again, not saying that any of the ones that are out there, like the police department all doing it, seem very blatant, but like the people who automatically rip pictures and like say, oh, this is like a racist thing, where it's like not everybody knows. Two, I'm sure there are sign language people who would pose with the okay sign, right? But at the same time, they're an internet company essentially, right? Like Activision should know that, hey, this is what this has kind of become in like internet culture, and we shouldn't add it. So
you think it's a
Absolutely.
good thing they took it out now? Or you feel like it's something they should have been looked into before? So like, should we not really like...
I mean, with game development,
yeah.
I'm pretty like, I'm sure they're not like, hey, we're gonna put this in here because, you know, white power. Yeah, I'm positive that's not why they put it in there.
Yeah.
Because as a developer, you're trying to, especially with like emotes and stuff, you're trying to add to the game, right? I want to give you a cool emote when you get it because that's what's popular right now. And okay, you know, like okay, got the kill, whatever, or okay, going in, whatever you were saying, like I'm gonna go into the house, okay, whatever it is, whatever you're using the emote for. They're just trying to stay competitive with like the emotes and have cool emotes and do cool things. And to them, I feel like this is just an oversight. And then now with everything that's going on, they're like, okay, yeah, this is problematic, which I don't think we should fault them for.
No way.
I feel like people learn, right? Just like if like a family member took a picture with the OK sign, not knowing, and then we explained to them, hey, that's kind of
That's what you did.
That's kind of like not okay now. Like I know it sounds crazy because it does sound insane.
Yeah.
But this is kind of what it's been, you know, co-opted to be now.
And then, not to interrupt or anything, but
Yeah, no.
sorry, that's my signature move. Lady Hulk in the chat says that they should swap it up for the thumbs up emote.
They already have
Heck
a thumbs
yeah.
up emote though.
They do. So, and I actually pulled up what exactly.
Yeah, so they
replacing it with.
replaced this with something called a crush emote. You said you have this pulled up. So what is that, a fist bump?
Oh,
or
that's
It's like a. I think you like.
It's like a fist
actually
pump?
crushing something.
like a yes type of. Oh, I mean, how could you? When would you use this? You know what
I got the kill. Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like a Tiger Woods
stand
thing.
No one's doing that. You
Yeah,
gotta
Tiger
move
Woods.
on. I guess. Come on. In Warzone though.
Yeah, I mean, I got the.
I mean, if you're getting kills and I'm doing this like 10 times a game, so I don't know about you.
or like when you get a good kill, I've seen you do it where you're like, yeah.
I mean, look,
That's what
that's
that
like
is.
end of the game though. Like the other symbols, like the thumbs up, the salute, like those are signaling like before you do something, right? You can actually use those mid game. Like, what am I doing this for? Like, is that just for me? Like, I'm trying to win. You know what I mean?
Going also just shining a light on the how the game, like kind of the ridiculousness and also like the nature of the games industry. That Amazon or that Apple show, Mythic Quest. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, what
Very
happened?
recommend it. Very
Okay.
recommend it.
It's on Apple?
Highly. From the creators of Sunny in Philadelphia. It's has this game developer humor, like the games industry humor that they do so well. And like that's one of the things where like actually it was like part of a story of one of the episodes where it was basically like, oh yeah, we got this like cool emote that we're gonna do and we're gonna debut and blah blah blah. And it was like the Heil Hitler. Like
Okay.
it was like it was the salute. And then they had the same thing happen where it was co-opted by or not co-opted, but it was the white supremacists in the game that were using it.
Okay, yeah.
So the whole episode's them trying to figure out what the fuck they do with this. Like they just ban them all, and then they have like all the press and things. So what they did is they just like put them on like their own server. But like that's kind of the stuff that happens in game development, where it's like if you are kind of about the game and you're just trying to add cool things to the game, one thing could be like go really really bad, especially on press when you have Kotaku and Polygon and everybody reporting it on the same time. So I also thought that's funny in terms of like things that that show kind of shines light on that I feel like is a little bit relevant to this.
Yeah.
No, totally. Yeah. I'm glad they took it out
Yeah, no,
because
you're
people
good.
were using it for the wrong reasons. I'm sure.
I'm sure, and that's why I'm like not like it's crazy to me. People that it's okay sign like they get all mad, and it's like, look, I get it because I agree. It sounds ridiculous, but like that's just not what it is anymore. For the most part.
You're right. For the uneducated like me, now I'm okay with them taking it out. Because at first I was all like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know people really looked at it like that. But now I see what it is, and I'm glad they're taking it
Well,
out.
you just flashed it on camera, you know.
No, I had it behind. I had it behind my laptop. So next piece of news, I don't want to make any spoilers. So Mikey, since me and my man Eli have not played Last of Us 2, Naughty Dog has been condemning some of the Last of Us 2 fans because they have felt like you, where they don't like the story, they didn't want to see what the story was, and now that they're playing the new game, they don't like the narrative of the story, and so like they've even given Neil Druckmann and one of the voice actors, Laura Bailey, death threats. I don't know, I can't talk. Death threats, and then just abusing them online. Have you experienced, or have you felt like through your playing, do you feel like they've taken a direction where you've been mad at what they've done with the game?
No. So this is what happened with Mass Effect 3, where at the people were very upset with the ending of Mass Effect 3. Feel like their choices really had no weight to the actual ending of the game.
Yeah.
And then that's when all the petitions started happening. And to me, one, it's entitlement. Two, I feel like a lot of people are mad because they were more inclusive with this game. Not like The Last of Us 1 wasn't inclusive, but like the way that story built up on The Last of Us, to me, this is the logical step on Ellie being older.
could come next?
Right? And they are more inclusive. Like there's more, like this isn't a spoiler, Ellie's gay. Like we found out in the DLC pack, right? For the first Last of Us. And people were all upset and angry about that, which you're just going to have those people in general, and people are going to spit vitriol on the internet no matter what.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's more prominent because of the kind of direction they went. And I haven't had, like, obviously I feel like reasonable people wouldn't have an issue with it. I'm not the end of the game, so I don't know what story choices they made, which I might not like. Like, I might agree with them and be like, I don't like it, but not agree with them in terms of, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm going to find you, and this is a piece of shit, and fuck you, and blah, 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 and all the hate that they kind of spew. Whereas, as a rational person, which most rational people will do, is like, I didn't like that. And I'm upset that I didn't like that because I love this franchise so much, and that's not how I would have done it. But this is the art, this is the story that they wanted to tell, and that's kind of how you have to rationalize it, like in terms of just being okay with, hey, there's just like when you're reading books, sometimes the last book's, not good, or the middle book, or whatever it is. There's a lot of filler. Game of Thrones, right? The ending. I remember the huge outrage of like Game of Thrones, but at the end of the day, did they do it the best? No. Is that the story that they wanted you to tell? Yes. And at the end of the day, you still had the whole ride of Game of Thrones that you enjoyed and you loved so much. And then it got to the last season, it wasn't, your thing.
Yeah.
That's okay. And that happens sometimes, especially with creators. I'm sure there are things people want us to do that we don't do, and we do things that they don't want us to do. I mean, I feel like that's just part of being creative and creating, not that us is art, but art or content or whatever it is. I feel like that just comes hand in hand, but I do definitely think that the direction that they kind of took in this game is a massive reason why people are kind of attacking it, because it's SJW and blah, blah, blah. It's just not like, to me, I think they did a perfect transition. Now, there were a couple parts where it was like really, really on the nose, like almost like, hey, this is like here. But like, I went, okay, and I moved on. But then they're meaningful, where it's like, this makes a lot of sense. And like, this is Ellie's character. Like, this is a perfect continuation of who Ellie is and what Ellie is about. And yeah, so to me, I'm trying not to get into spoilers here, so I'm trying to step around. So, but that's the thing with this is people are going to be mad no matter what. Even if they didn't do this, I'm sure people would be mad that they didn't do this.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's because of the direction that they went, is what I would say. But again, I'm not at the end, so I could come out at the end and be like, I don't like it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go, I don't like it, and I might do a review or I might do whatever. But I'm not gonna Neil Druckmann, fuck you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Laura Bailey. Like that's not she. This is what surprises me. It's like the people who went after Kelly Tran. Is that her last name? Or
Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran in
Exactly.
Star Wars, where it was basically like, you were terrible, blah, blah, worst part of the movie. It's like, hey, I read the words they wrote, and I was in the parts of the movie that they wanted me to be in.
Yeah.
And I got paid. But at the end of the day, it's like, I was casted, you know? It's not like I was like, you have to cast me and like somehow strong held them into like, you know, casting her. They wanted her. They casted her. They wrote her the lines, and they made her not great in the movie. She wasn't not great in the movie. It's just the writers. It was just not a good movie in the first place. But the writers made her not a great character. But I don't think that makes her a bad actor. Like I don't think she should deserve the hate for the part that she played in Star Wars. And the same thing with this, like with Laura Bailey. It's like, kidding me? Laura Bailey is up there with like Troy Baker and Nolan North in terms of like voice acting, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, why she acted out what they wanted her to act out and said the words that they wanted her to say. That's acting. Like that is what acting is.
I mean, when you put it like that, yeah. I mean, it's not really, you can't really put much blame on her because she just walked in the door essentially and just said what she had to say and walked out.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a game or even watched a movie where you feel like you didn't like the direction where they took it, or maybe it was too like controversial for the moment or whatever?
Absolutely. I mean, back to Mikey's like comparison. Last Jedi, I walked out of being like, wow, this is one of the worst Star Wars movies for sure. And like it was at the time. I came around on it, and now I'm like, Episode 9, one of the worst Star Wars movies I've ever seen.
Okay, and then it's Last Jedi.
Yeah, and then Last Jedi. But like, I don't hate anyone that was part of it. I just hate that that it turned out that way.
Yeah.
You know, and I have no vitriol towards anyone. Just sucks that it was a bad time.
What I worry about with things like this, because these are directed at like the cast, the director, right? I don't want a company like Naughty Dog to start pulling punches on their games because of the feedback and the response they'll have. Like the game still hit top of the charts, but I still feel like this type of response, even though it's probably not the biggest response as far as how positive the game is versus how negative this is, I still feel like it still can hit. And I feel like hopefully not, they don't start pulling punches, or the games don't get as controversial, or they don't take the narrative in the direction where it could start conversation. Because there's games like Call of Duty where like they have like missions and shit where like make you think like, whoa, what the fuck, is that okay? Like, did I just play that? I've talked to like Tambo about like some missions shit like where you really have to sit down and really like, this is a little girl who had to go through her house and like stab people. Like,
Are you talking about Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like people are not upset at that, but they're upset at something like this, where it's just the narrative of this girl who's gay and who has to go through this.
Or they're
life.
they're taking it out on, you know, one story plot line because of all this stuff in it that they don't like, which is fine. You still bought the game, so they're still gonna get the money. And two, like they're just gonna do this anyway, and it's one of those things where it's sad and it's wrong and they shouldn't do it. But people have to understand you're not gonna control people. Like at the end of the day, I feel like that's the internet's biggest problem. You're not going to control people. You're not going to stop people. Like, you're just not. And it's one of those things where a lot of these people can grow into better people, and a lot of these people are going to remain garbage bags for the rest of their lives. And that's just the world. Like, that's just the world and the reality that we live in.
Yeah, haters gonna hate at the end of the day.
True.
What you were saying with if there's a game, there's all the time. There's plenty of times where it was like, first of all, a couple different points I want to touch on. I don't think they're going to pull any punches. I think a good developer or a good publisher goes, okay, like, all right. And obviously with EA, with Mass Effect, they pulled punches and they changed the story. Yeah. Right. So that has happened before, but I feel like a developer like Naughty Dog that is so artsy and so like, this is the story we want to tell. Even Neil said it himself. Like, if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it again. So it's like, I don't think you're going to see them pulling any punches. But two, there have been games where I don't like the direction. Like, literally anything from Crash from Sanity on. You know, I hated those games.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I wrote dumb letters to the president of Activision and like stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, it is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, luckily, I mean, there was Twitter, but I didn't go on Twitter and I wasn't like, fuck you. I'm going to come to your house and burn it down because, again,
it's too much.
reasonable person. I just write handwritten letters to them.
Even as a child, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
As it should be. All right. Speaking of spoilers and not trying to spoil, let me spoil a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So it was a 30-minute leaked gameplay. Now, the gameplay footage is absolute garbage. It looks trash, but you still get to see a little bit exactly what's happening in the game. So I skipped a little bit forward. I don't have the whole 30 minutes playing. Honestly, it's more or less more of the same shit. So just go ahead and play it. We'll just have it in the back. So this character right there, the girl, so that's going to be the female version. This is the game we can have a male or female version of the main character. This is the female version of that character. And this is kind of like them storming the gates. This reminds me of the scene of the Game of Thrones, the Battle of King's Landing. When Stannis came.
Definitely. The green fire.
Yep.
That green fire.
That green fire.
You know, Eli Mikey has never seen Game of Thrones.
I mean, the ending's bad, so
That's what I'm saying. You know
get
what
ready.
I mean?
Still good.
Just stop it before the last season.
I got it. I'll make up my own.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Assassin's Creed.
How you feel about this?
It looks good, but I actually want to chime in on like the female version of the game. I wish they'd just make games smaller and then focus in on like a tailored storyline for the female protagonist. Because I feel like too much in games, it's basically, the male and the female version. It's the same exact thing, and I feel like you lose something in the story. Whereas, like, I think it would be cool is if you played as the female and it was like different interactions like there would be in real life, right? And different, not no complete overhaul of the story, but different plot points and different interactions and different this and different that in terms of like how that particular character goes through that world. I think, again, that's just something I wish to see games go into in the future, because I think it's so generic, just be like, oh, this is the male version, this is the female version, same exact game, same like everything, same interaction, same this, same that. But in reality, it wouldn't be the same, and I feel like that would be a lot more empowering to actually have, like, you know, at least thought out some plot points, you know, where almost like the Infamous, the good and evil, but not good and evil, you know, where it's like, it's the same story, but like, there's different missions sometimes, like every once in a while, or there's different interactions that you have, or whatever it is. I feel like I'd really dig that, because one, it gives you more replayability, and two, I think it does the female version of the character more justice.
Did you know there was
Absolutely.
a female version of Infamous?
Huh?
Did you know there was a female version of Infamous?
First Light?
First Light.
First Light.
Pretty much Infamous just as a girl.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No. I mean, she wasn't just a girl. She was like a character in the...
Yeah, and she was a
in
character in the
Second
story,
Son.
but I mean, essentially she was the Infamous character.
She's
Just
one of the dopest Infamous
was
characters.
dope.
She's...
Absolutely. Shout out Laura Bailey.
Was that Laura Bailey?
Oh, yeah. Fetch? Oh, yeah. Laura Bailey.
Wow.
look at fucking.
I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, in terms of Assassin's Creed, and I heard you said about just having a unique game based around the female character, but I feel like with them, they're really trying. You can stop the gameplay, by the way. This is honestly just. I really just want you guys to see just the interaction as far as how the game looks, what you're able to do. Biggest thing, I'm gonna get back to my main point I was trying to get to, but biggest thing about this gameplay footage I was really trying to get you guys to see is just how interactive it is. It's supposed to be as a Viking squad, so it's not just you trying to, you know, kill everybody essentially in the castle. Now you have a team to work with. The gameplay as far as fighting looks the same. I feel like the sound score and really just the story is going to be what pushes you forward. And I don't know if that's enough for me in games anymore. That's why I don't finish them.
Yeah, watching this 30-minute leak, at the beginning I felt like it looked a lot like Witcher.
Yeah.
Just like riding the horse from like village to village or whatever, and I don't think I want that. Like, I have Witcher to finish still.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I want that, I'll go back to Witcher because I feel like it's going to be more in depth. Like, I like Geralt as a character more than most of the Assassin's Creed protagonists, to be honest. And yeah, I think it's just going in a path of being way too big for an old Assassin's Creed fan, which, you know, that's me.
Yeah, definitely. Back to my other point. The girl in this game, so they followed. I don't even know why they made a female or male version. Really, they're just trying to follow the name and the lore. So that was the whole purpose of this game. So the character's name, Envier, or however you say it, is supposed to be just a character in the lore, and they just made it a female or a male, but keeping the story the same, which I thought was an interesting take on that. Yeah. Well, sorry.
I was gonna say I really want to point out and agree with Mikey's like idea of when you have different gendered characters, like having different plot points and different interactions, because like it is different, like based on like you know what you present as, and that should be looked into. I think as like RPGs move forward with like mechanics and stuff, I think we can see that in the near future.
Well, I'd take that over like a 3 times the size Assassin's Creed.
Absolutely.
100%. Bigger doesn't mean better. Again, that goes back to my story thing where it's like I want more story, and I think that would be beneficial all across all the board.
Yeah, going back to what you said about what you lose, I feel like when you do something like that in Assassin's Creed, I feel like you lose perspective for sure, because you're not really seeing this world from a female's perspective. You're just seeing the world in a female's body. You know what I mean? I feel like those are way two different things, and I feel like you can get a better story if you have perspective behind it.
Yep. 100% agree.
All right, guys. So that was the last story.
Wait, we're skipping the other stories?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry. Can I actually throw in a story here?
Okay,
Because-
what you want,
Sorry,
Poppy?
I feel like I
Yeah,
should have
let's
sent
get it.
you this, but I didn't, and I feel like this is news, and this came out this week with the next gen games. Have we heard about the next gen games going kind of playing off the story that we just talked about with Assassin's Creed getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and how we want it smaller and like more sizable in terms of story and more catered to story?
Yeah.
This is going to be the last generation where games are $60.
Yeah.
So $70 games from here on out for next gen games, PS5 games, Xbox Series X games. $70. There's a lot of people in industry saying it is unsustainable with the way AAA games are. Obviously, like your Grand Theft Autos are going to be very lucrative, and I'm sure The Last of Us is, one, going to make their money back, and two, they're going to do a multiplayer, like a separate multiplayer where they can make money off the microtransactions. And again, if that's just the way it is, that is the way it is. I'm fine with microtransactions as it is cosmetic. I feel like that's fine, as long as it's not any like in-game stuff. But I kind of want to get your guys' take on it being $70. Like no longer the $60 games, which I believe this says it's 15 years of.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, ending 15 years of the $60 game.
Go ahead.
I'll say I'm cool with the price rising. It's going to be difficult to like afford everything, which I think is going to be most people's struggle. Unless you are the person that has every Xbox, every PlayStation, and the beefy PC, like you're probably chilling. But I think the biggest thing for me is that it's kind of insane that it's 2K pushing this in like a game, like an annualized game that makes so much money off of microtransactions. Like, you don't need to raise the price when you make all your money off of like nickel and diming people, and they're unabashedly doing it in 2K. So it's kind of like that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. I think once it gets to like the more single player, like AAA stuff, I'm cool with it. But I think the annualized games going higher is kind of
Infuriating?
yeah. I don't like
100%.
it.
I mean, this makes you look at the Xbox even more, because they have essentially, you're able to play these next gen games on your Xbox One, and those games are still going to be $60 reportedly. So the Xbox One version or the first gen version is going to be $60, and then everything PS5, or I don't even know if PS5 is going to have some type of dual system, but everything on the Xbox Series X is going to be $70, which is some bullshit because it's the same game. I feel like you get more demand. I feel like as a consumer, I want more out of my game. Like, it's not just enough for me just to spend. Like, obviously the games are going up, so I should feel like I should get more, right? I don't need like these incomplete games like another fucking what was that game, the Anthem or Fallout 76. Like, if I'm paying $70, you better make it worth $70, because it's like I feel like there need to be more accountability if you're gonna raise the price.
Yeah, and that's
true.
the thing where it's like we're getting games that aren't finished.
Yeah.
Already, and it's like I'm fine with the like you. I would be fine with paying $90 for a game, like $100 for a game. Like if it's like a big game and it's like something like Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like hours and hours and hours, and now I wouldn't necessarily buy it. I wouldn't have bought it at $60. I didn't buy it at $60, but I could definitely see if it was a game I'm into, and it like if Last of Us 3 is like this huge open world and it's this and that, I'd be okay with paying $100. But like you said, the game better damn be there. Like there's no nickel and diming at that price point, even at $70. And that's the thing that infuriates me too, because you think 2K is going to be like innovative, and
No way.
different, and Madden and all these games, and it's like that's what pisses me off. I would be okay with those either going subscription, yearly subscription, $60, or
Something, right?
lower in price, $50, like
Yeah.
something like, because it's at that point you are literally copying and pasting, and then you have your artist redo your graphics. And I know that sounds dumb, and I'm sure if someone was making a game and they listened to me talk about this, they're probably infuriated with me. But those games are pretty much copy and paste, other than like the graphics. That's what is improved every year. The microtransactions are now at play with those sports games, so you have that. The microtransaction team on board now, but for the most part, you tweak gameplay every couple years or so, or you add a story mode like Madden did, and 2K just did. But other than that, it's like your story mode's not like The Last of Us. Like you can, like you already bang that out in like 7 months.
My question is like, does everything get raised? Like, is my DLC now gonna go from like $30 to like $45 now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like everything just raise the bar. Like, just fuck it. Like, I already paid $600 for this console. Now I'm gonna pay $70 for the game, which is okay if it's a good game. But now I'm paying like $50 for like the DLC, and it's just like all of this shit better be good.
Well, 8-Bit Data is actually chiming in on the chat here
What does he
live on twitch.tv/PE Productions. You can watch us live Mondays and Tuesdays. And he's saying needed to happen. It's insane games stayed for $60 for so long. I agree with that because inflation, right? You're basically at the same price and things are getting more and more expensive. And honestly, these AAA games are unsustainable. Like with the amount of dollars that are put into them, and especially single game, like a God of War, The Last of Us, where the single player games, you don't get microtransactions to make it up. Now, obviously, if you pour tons of money into a Call of Duty or a Fortnite or that one Battle Royale game we just watched, forgot what it was named,
Hyperscape.
right? You're gonna get the money back because you're at least gonna get skins and microtransactions, whereas on the single player stuff, you don't really have that, and nor should you. I think. So that's where the sticky area gets, where those are my favorite games to play, but are they as profitable as a Fortnite? No. Or a Grand Theft Auto? No. But I think those games are really, really super important to stay around in the industry, and I think those are the most appealing games to me in the industry. So yeah, charge me $80 for the next AAA single player game, like the next God of War, or $70 for the next God of War. But I do think it's kind of bullshit that these multiplayer games are going to be coming out at either free to play, which is kind of the trend that's going now, or $60 for Call of Duty.
The sports games especially, like they could
So skeevy. I'm with you, dude.
Yeah, they should have been lower from the beginning. But
Thank you.
like I agree, prices did need to rise because of development costs and everything. I forget who said it, but there's a quote from like a game executive where they said they would prefer like a smaller 20-hour game, and it's more like sustainable than like these massive 60-hour games that no one even really finishes for the most part. Yeah, like people aren't even seeing all the games, so why spend the money and the resources on putting things in there when you could have like a tighter experience and spend less money?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to bring back to my point of I need more accountability for my dollar. Like
100%.
I understand that prices are going up and you need more money to make good games. Okay. But I need more of like things we saw with like Anthem or was it Outer Worlds, the other game that they kind of redeveloped and remade and worked on.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
I need more of that because it's like you have fans that would get hyped. The marketing's all there. Get the hype, like Anthem, right? You get the game and it's just nothing you bought. Like that's false advertisement, right? So like, where's the accountability for like the game that I thought I was gonna get? Like you got my money, but like I didn't get the game. It's just like now I have to wait for you to fix it. You know what I mean? Type deal. Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that at all. That's where I have a problem with them raising the price.
and I bet you EA is going to be the biggest.
Yep.
What am I thinking? But what's the word I'm thinking?
EA is going to be the
Not
biggest
victim. Abuser of this.
Abuser?
Sure, we'll
Yeah.
go with abuser of this.
EA has a
Abuser of
program
this.
though, so they have a program similar to Microsoft's same delivery, where you're able to
Smart
play it onto
delivery?
smart delivery.
Yeah.
They have something similar to that where you're able to play like there's two versions of their games. I don't know if there's a price difference for the games, but I know there's a 2 version like step up you have with EA.
Go into the chat one more time before we wrap up here. Lady Hulk X
What's up, Lady
says, "Yeah,
Hulk?
I totally get it. Reviews are going to be that much more valuable. I feel. I think that is a great point.
Yeah, that's real. That's really real. Get some people you trust. Watch their videos, aka play everything. YouTube.com/play everything.
Maybe we'll get review copies one day to where we can get a headed launch.
Yeah, we got some ideas. We're gonna throw some reviews out. We'll make it happen.
Nice,
We'll make it
nice.
happen. All right, guys. I thought you were gonna say something more,
I
Mikey.
think
My
it's so
bad.
shocked.
That was the last topic of the day. Once again, my name is Shawn Flowers, aka That Kid Flowers. Here I have Eli Shaw,
Eli.
aka Real San Francisco Treat, the one and only. And then I have Pizboy Doughboy over there, aka Cheeks_Junior, Mike Doe.
Thank you for watching. Let's comment down below. Let us know what you thought of all this discussion that happened today.
Yep.
You can follow my stuff over at every Monday,
How dare you.
8 p.m. I'm doing my plugs. I got to the end here.
I
8
didn't even
p.m.
plug
Completely
myself.
consensual. Much better show. Go watch it Mondays. Sean's still on it, but Mondays at 8 p.m. Is our crazy clip show. You can go check that out. And then Tech Fever every Thursday at 10 a.m. You're on youtube.com/chiptooth gaming. And again, you can catch Completely Consensual and this show live Monday and Tuesday on twitch.tv/PE Productions.
He just stole my plugs. I'm going to say it one more time. You can watch this show every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. at twitch.tv/P Productions. And you can listen to the live episode. You can listen to the episodes on podcast services around the globe, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, all that, Wednesday at 10 a.m. as well as watch it on youtube.com/play everything.
Please, God,
Same time.
watch it on it. Even if you listen to it, just click on it and then click off.
Click, thumbs up. See you.
Maybe leave it in the background. Please, God, subscribe.
All right. Eli, you want to plug anything?
I guess just follow me on Twitter, Real SF Treat. I am trying to get like a consistent streaming schedule. I'm moving, so I'll have more like of a space to do that. So when I get on Twitch, you'll see me there.
Where's their Twitch? Where can they watch you stream?
You can watch me at twitch.tv/ShawDoggy. Doggy is DAWGY.
Of course.
Of course. The cool way to do it. Yeah, you'll see me on the Twitch there. And yeah, follow me on Twitter.
Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Twitch. All right, guys. Logging off.